Well, unique happenings here. 2 false starts, but a man still in an event, only because of this individual rule in the decathlon. And the eternal bridesmaid is the man under pressure. Never beaten Daley Thompson in a major championship. Jurgen Hingsen.
So Hingsen in 1, Tarnowetsky in 2, Valenta in 3, Fremont in 4, Johnson in 5, that's the first of the Americans, Coleman of New Zealand in 6, Tim Bright, the second of the Americans, in 7, and Gary Kinder, the third of the Americans, in lane 8. So all three American decathletes in this same heat. Well, Jurgen Hingsen, one last opportunity. Well, he waited that time. Oh, there's another false start. Now, who was that? Because it looked all right to me.
Well, I don't know what to say, because I thought of those that left, Hingsen was the first, and in which case the starter's got to go down and have words, and this would be the saddest opening if it were Hingsen. I just looked along the line. I'm surprised the cameraman didn't stay on it. Look to the far right.
Oh, it could be, Ron. It could be. He certainly looks to have left first. It looked all right first time round, but when they show it in slow motion, it could be a disqualification. Now, a nervy pace back by Hingsen. Now, this would be a personal tragedy for him, a personal disaster. Well, it looks like it.
Hingsen must leave the decathlon. He hasn't even scored a point.
Well, he's still there on. Although he says, "Am I out? Am I in? Am I out?" He doesn't believe it was him, and now there's going to be a very long argument, I fancy. Well, Hingsen hasn't even got started. All the marvellous championships he's had, Ron, in the past, all those silver medals, and now he makes his exit from these games.
Well, you don't need words to tell you what's going on there. He's appealing to the other athletes. They can do nothing. And I'm afraid the attitude of the Koreans is to listen with great patience, but then stick to the rule.
Well, you have to say that the organisation within these games is absolutely by the book, and it doesn't matter who you are, superstar or not. And the official turns his back on Hingsen, and I'm not sure that these remonstrations will bear any fruit at all. If he's had 3 false starts, he automatically goes out. He's complaining that perhaps there was a faulty start along the line, but quite clearly...
In the blue will be the IAAF man. He's speaking in English. He wants a replay, and there were 2 that left at the same time, lane 3 as well as lane 1, but I don't think it will have... there's the reaction times coming off.
Well, they're looking at those reaction times, and Hingsen's only chance is that if someone set him off, and if someone's reaction time is less than his on that sheet of paper. That's an extraordinary start. But I'm surprised the man of Hingsen's experience, Ron, even taking a chance on it there.
The first one is absolutely impossible. The third, it's the 14th.
He's suggesting that the third start is absolutely impossible, but it's not, of course. It is entirely possible. And his own discipline was at fault because he had all the warnings. Now, it may well be that he was triggered off by someone else starting, and if it were lane 3, but it would be most unusual. He's desperate to get as many points from the first event, the 100 meters, as possible, and he's appealing to everybody he can find, including the other athletes.
Well, he won't let it go, and you can understand it. Well, you can't say that this Games is without controversy. It's
the West Germans have already lost Siggy Vents, and that was under a cloud of suspicion because he came to the Olympic Village and had a fitness test and then left. So he's been all the way out to Seoul and back for nothing.
Well, I don't think his luck's in today. I feel sorry for the other athletes in this heat too, because they're having to wait around while this is going on. 3 attempts at the start's pretty generous, and to take it so close to the mark each time is, well, I wouldn't have expected that of Hingsen.
And I think finally he's learning that he's got to bite the bullet. Not a happy start.
And this is one of the unusual situations in these games. The athletes, Carl Lewis did it the other day, wandering across and talking to managers.
Komm, Jurgen, hat keinen Sinn.
Is it over?
Das doch gar nicht. Sie müssten wir doch... Das kann doch nicht wahr sein. Ich bin beim dritten Mal sitzen geblieben.
Well, his chin's down, and the rest of the athletes accord to their marks, and Hingsen is out.
So, all he can do is look on. And Hingsen goes. The former world record holder, that's David Johnson of the United States. So Tarvanetsky, Valenta, Frimut, Johnson, Pullman, Bright and Kinder are those left to do battle with the stopwatch. Well, Tarvanetsky off well, so did Johnson. Johnson going well in the centre, and Pullman coming through. Pullman of New Zealand, followed by Tim Bright. Pullman leading, Johnson in second, Bright in third, Tarvanetsky in fourth. 11.10, not particularly quick, but to hold concentration for the length of time that they did at the start run, well, that certainly was a very, very difficult job indeed. Minus 0.8 meters per second, so they had a slight headwind, but they'll have all been upset by that occurrence.
And 838 points for the winner. He's got 10 events. Multiply that by 10 and you'll realize how they get up to 8,300, or daily up to 8,800. Simon Pullman, who many will remember as the big fella that did a standing back somersault in the Commonwealth Games, but really all eyes are still on Jurgen Hingsen, who's had to bow out. Great sadness, but the rules were properly applied.
And of course, with protests, it won't bear any fruit at all, because the other athletes will have moved on by the time any protest would have been fulfilled. And so he really has done it. But 3 false starts for a man of his experience, doesn't matter whether he doesn't believe the third one. That's what the machinery says, that's what the starter says, and that's what will go down in the record books. Hingsen disqualified after 3 false starts in the first event.
He's relying on the fact that there are 5 heats, so if he could get an appeal in very quickly, he's really hoping that he might get attached to the 5th heat, which is still some minutes away.
Well, let's just have a look at that third start. Well, it looked as though the Czech, Valenta, went off at the same time, but quite clearly the reaction times showing up, which Hingsen was shown, wouldn't confirm that, and would confirm Hingsen being the first to react.
And there's the decathlon coach down there, grey-haired man. And the starter has no option. A buzzer goes on and a light goes on. If anyone has left the blocks before he's fired the gun, and he's then can fire the recall gun. It's entirely in his hands. He is the arbiter. In the Rome World Championships in the 100 metres, that buzzer and light went on, but in the 100 metres, Ben Johnson got a world record. There's Daly in the background there, incidentally. He would have expressed his condolences, I'm sure. But incidentally, the light and the buzzer went on, and they didn't fire the recall gun, but again, it was the judge's decision.